if you could have any guest, usually we'd say dead or alive.
Okay.
You could have any dead guest. Obviously alive, but dead currently. Who would that be?
Time out. Am I doing dead or alive?
Dead.
Dead. Okay.
But they're going to be alive for the interview.
That's good. It's positive.
It's a good thing. Your producers are on it.
Oh, man.
Don't say Jesus or something. I mean, that'd be great. But
well, yeah, I mean, that'd be a great get.
It'd be great.
He's the number one bookseller all time.
So where the fuck do we start?
What's up, bud?
What's up, man? We just had a nice embrace on the side of the road in the airport terminal.
We did, yeah.
To give people background on what happened here, we drove the RV up, but we're still working out some kinks in the system, and we were going to interview Jason on the RV, and a nice guy named Mike from Hertz said, you guys need, now our producer dropped names, but he said, if you guys need the Hertz parking lot, you can do that.
Yeah.
So we set up in there, there's a bunch of beeping, and we had to come to the Sheridan. We're in the Haverford room.
Yeah.
So
which
right
is where
here,
I live.
Yeah.
So it's almost like it was meant to be in this room.
Yeah.
I think, troubleshooting an RV to where beeping sounds were coming from was not on my to-do list today.
Yeah.
But it was an adventure nonetheless.
Yeah. Maybe that was like busting with the boys, like
maybe that's what they
trying
do.
to say, like, this is our turf. It's too hard to execute a podcast in an RV that's actually running.
Right.
It's got to be stationary.
Sure.
Yeah. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I feel really, really good. I've officially, for the most part, healed up from all the like little things from the season.
Yeah.
My right knee up until actually this week was still giving me some issues in the back, just like Baker's cyst type stuff.
Yeah.
And it feels great this week. So I'm very happy with where I'm at right now. Yeah.
And how close were you to saying
close?
Fuck it?
I'll be honest.
Like every year, I feel like we talk, and you're like,
yeah. But I mean, it's getting harder and harder. I mean, I think this was definitely the hardest one, the closest one I came to retiring. But I think part of that too is like I almost just on some levels feel like I should just retire. Like
still,
like I'm like, what am I really? Why do I keep doing this
camp.
to myself? Yeah, camp's not going to be a good mind frame, but we'll get through it. I think, and camp has changed so much, but I think the bottom line is I think I still want to play football, and I still enjoy going into work. I still enjoy being around the teammates, and I still feel like I can do it at the right level for another year. I hope I can.
Well, it'd have to be a pretty big drop off for you not to be able to do it.
Yeah.
Because you're playing really well. Like, honestly, are you playing as well as you've ever played?
You know, I graded out really high. I played at a really consistent level last year. But there's certain things that help that out. You know, we have a really good group in general.
Yeah.
Obviously, the tackles positions are secured with Lane and Jordan, which allows us to be pretty thick in the middle. And, you know, we don't have to help them out that much.
Mm-hmm.
Landon Dickerson is a big boy.
It's a mountain, dude.
Isaac Seomalu just got paid. Happy for him. I think he's been one of the most underrated guards in the league for a long time. So I have a lot of really good offensive linemen around me. Quarterback gets us into a lot of advantageous situations. Teams are nervous to run games and do a lot of things and pass pro.
Yeah, as would we be.
Right.
Yeah, if we're playing somebody like Jalen.
I mean, I think all of that kind of helps everyone play better. You know, I think Lane has proven over the last decade he's the best pass blocking right tackle in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
But that's only become easier because now you have a guy who can roll out to his right and is so dynamic outside the pocket. You know, edge rushers are terrified to give up contain out there.
And doesn't put y'all in bad spots with the sacks.
Yeah, no.
Like that's an interesting thing with him because he's so mobile, he could use it. But it feels like he's really smart about where he drifts and where he doesn't drift.
He makes quick decisions. He's got great awareness in the pocket. He delivers the ball quickly when he is in there.
Yeah.
Like there's not a lot of wasted time inside the pocket. I think I ran into an offensive line coach at the combine when I was there, and we were just shooting the stuff, and that was one of the things that he thought was a very underrated part of Jalen's game is, you know, it's 1, 2, 3 balls out, 1, 2, 3 balls out, and then he has the ability to then break contain and extend play. So it's like, you know, at times you have this unbelievable receiver in A.J. Brown, who can beat anybody on a slant, and it's like a catch throw. And then in other times, he's breaking contain, and guys are doing double moves down the field. So it's what are we trying to take away from these guys? And that's part of why he's such a special player.
How long did it take? Because I remember texting you after the Super Bowl. I gave you a week. Because nobody wants to hear hey, it's going to be okay. Because it's not fucking okay. You were real classy about it. The whole team was real classy about it. You could have been this call, that call, or and I know, but
it's just not healthy. I feel like to approach it that way. But no, it was a mixed emotions on the field for sure. Because Travis on the other team, my mom's down there.
Come on, though.
No, mixed? I'm serious.
You had good emotions for Travis?
I think I did. Yeah, I was genuinely on some level. There's still a level of happiness for your brother.
Some level.
Yeah, but I mean, obviously, overwhelmingly, the feeling is negative, and it's it's negative for you, but it's also negative for the team and all these guys. Like Jalen, I mean, it's one of the best performances by a quarterback in Super Bowl history.
He was incredible,
and he doesn't have a ring to show for that. So, I think it really set in probably the next day, and I'm still thinking about plays I wanted back. If we just did this, why did I make that call if I just did that? If this guy does it, all these what ifs, and that's subsided as time goes. I think in some ways it's the stages of grief, right? The first initially you're on the field and you're in denial, man, we played hard and just didn't have the ball at the end and didn't get a chance to go down the field one more time. But it wasn't like we got blown out. So I was kind of proud of the way some of the team played, especially offensively and Jalen in particular. But yeah, I think as with anything, losing sucks, and the Super Bowl is an awful one to lose. My brother said that going into the season. He said, because they lost to Tampa, and he said, losing a Super Bowl will never make you want to go back and win one. And I thought he was just saying that because it sounded good to the crowd of people that we were in front of. But I was like, no, that motherfucker's probably, he was actually telling the truth, and I understand exactly what he's saying.
I told you what Rob Ninkovich said to me. Rob Ninkovich.
No, what did Rob say?
He said, as we were on the bus to picture day at Super Bowl.
Yeah.
He was like, listen, this is a lot of fun, but if we lose this thing, you're going to wish we went 2-14.
Yeah.
And that we didn't play in it at all.
There's some absolute truth to that. I mean, to go all the way, to have the season you do and everything to go that way, and then for it to end like that, it's not fun. Yeah.
Of course, my text to you was you can't win them all.
Yeah, right.
And you go, easy for you to say that. You actually won them all.
Yeah, right.
And I was like, well, you got me there. I was lucky. But at the end of the day, it's you come back the next year, and I was gonna meet up with Howie tomorrow and interview Howie. And
sure,
one of the things I was gonna ask him was I know you always have to say we got to do something different, or we got to do this different or that different, but the difference between us winning in 2017 and y'all losing this year is nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, there's literally nothing. It's one strip sack, or it's, the bouncing of football, or one call. So, I mean, how do you come out of that and build without saying oh, we got to change X, Y, and Z? It feels like you got to do the same thing. Things just got to go right.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're right. I mean, it was a shootout in 2017, just like it was this past year, right?
Yeah.
Were
you mad at us, by the way, in 2017? I never asked you this.
No.
Because Lane was mad. I remember
Lane was mad?
Lane came over during the second half and was like, can y'all get a fucking stop?
Well, in the game, I think that's a different thing. But, as you know, you guys coming up big against the Falcons, it's all a team game, right? And I think, in the heat of the moment, when you're playing good teams and good quarterbacks, they're going to put up points.
Yeah.
So it's going to be something like that. Yeah. You're going to have to score. And it just led to the excitement of the game. I'm especially not mad because we won the game. There's no lingering issues.
But I mean, had we lost, it wasn't, I always have people say hey, y'all beat Tom Brady. I'm like, no, we
did.
We were on the field with Tom Brady.
But, I mean, BG comes up with that strip sack at the end of the game.
No question.
Kansas City, I think, had 3 possessions in the first half. That's it. We only had 3 possessions in the second half.
Yeah.
They had 1 non-scoring drive in the first half. We had 1 non-scoring drive in the second half. So, I mean, it was just one of those games where it felt like whoever had the ball last was going to win. And, unfortunately, they had it last.
With your body and the conversation about like retirement and that sort of thing, we were just offline, like we were joking about the shape we're in physically.
Yeah.
Is that a worry for you?
I mean, that's one of the things that goes into your mind, right? Like, but at this point, I'm kind of already pot committed to being in bad shape.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know that playing, 1 more year really changes that, unless there's like a big injury, which that's always the risk stepping out there. I think, I've kind of succumbed to the fact that I already have arthritis in my ankles and knees and hips, right? And we'll deal with it down the road. Hopefully, doctors are coming out with good procedures down the line.
Yeah, it's funny because, like, I retired and I kind of did it a little ahead of schedule where, I could go a little more. And I thought it would buy me this, like, fountain of youth transition into retirement.
Yeah.
And my body feels terrible.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't feel good. Like, I'm pulling my hamstring playing softball and fucking, I'm struggling to do, daily tasks relative to my buddies who are 38.
Yeah.
So I think you actually have the right idea because I don't think I don't think like you getting out now is going to make you feel better at 40 or at 50 or at 60,
Yeah, I mean, obviously, anytime you go on there, you're going to have some type of big one.
Yeah.
Right. But I think, I mean, I'm kind of living in the moment. Whatever happens down the road, we'll approach it then. There's all sorts of modern medical advances happening.
Do you think we're good here?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think I'm definitely
we're
not
good right now.
No, I've never been good here.
Yeah, so that's part of it. Is like you could kick another trash can and somebody could be like, "Hey, Jason's losing his shit."
That's right. Yeah,
but
I've been doing that.
Kicking trash cans in Cincinnati.
I've very much had this rap for a long time.
Yeah, I mean, I worry about that stuff, but I also think like I look at my dad. He's played way more trauma than us in that era. I think about, Jim Brown lived to 87, just passed away.
Yep.
Every time there's like a horror story, we focus so much on it, but there's a lot of guys who live long, happy lives.
There are. And, the league has certainly put an emphasis on trying to reduce the amount of those big hits to the head.
I know you're a fan
also
of
the foam pads and the on top of the helmet pad, and then in a couple of years there'll be another on top of the pad of that pad, and
then I come back.
Yeah. So I mean, I think that I think we know a lot more in general about health and recovery. How to prevent traumatic brain injury. And I mean, quite honestly, I think they're learning stuff about all sorts of age-related cognitive decline. So I think I'm optimistic that we're in a much different situation than some of the players that preceded us.
For sure, yeah.
So I look at it optimistically. I think there's some damage being caused. I mean, I don't think you can play the game without doing something if you're hitting your head that much for as long as we've played. But I'm optimistic about it.
One thing I'm optimistic about is New Heights.
Hey.
I think it could be pretty good.
Thanks.
I think you could.
I appreciate it. I think you were one of the people that got the whole thing started. I don't know that we've shared that.
We haven't talked. I told the guys in the bus. They were like, "You got to ask them about New Heights." I was like, "Well, no shit. I got that in my notes." I remember you calling me.
Yeah.
And just saying, "What do you think about me doing a podcast?"
Yep.
And your concerns were what?
Well, the big concern was, I don't know that I asked you about this specifically, but a big concern is, is it a distraction from the season, the team? If the season doesn't go well, it's not going to be a good look. So I think all of those things were kind of concerns, but then you see other guys doing it while they're still playing and it's a success. So I think some of the biggest questions you was like, what do you think about starting this? Like, what is doing it while I'm playing the right time is.
And I thought, yes.
Well, that was the biggest advice you said. So
What did I say? I blacked out.
So when Travis and I were trying to figure out just whether we were going to do it or not, we're meeting with multiple groups. There's multiple different ideas being thrown out on what that could look like. And we kind of had narrowed it down to the team that we ultimately ended up selecting. But I was just floating the whole entire situation about this to you. And we were kind of under the gun as the season was getting going on whether we were going to do it. Like we need to do it. We need to make it a quicker decision. And I remember your advice to me was just, do it while you're still playing. Because I didn't know if I was going to play another year after that. And you're like, I think, you can approach all this stuff on who you're with or how it goes, like after the fact, but like start this while you're still playing, while you're in the middle of a season, while people are going to be interested in hearing.
Because they'll always love you, but there's like an amount of like paying attention to what you say and what you push out, creatively, that I think probably changes when you retire. Now, you'll always be a god here, and like you're a Hall of Famer and all that stuff, and I will be all humble, but like it's a different calculus than when I was retiring. But I think also everything that makes you great ensured that you weren't going to be a fucking slacker or play bad or show your ass or be a distraction. I mean, like. Have you at any point felt like you were a distraction?
Zero. If anything, I feel like I've been more engaged because I'm like having to follow more stuff from across the league to at least be semi-informed on things.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know, you get to control the message of the team more. You get to control what you want to say more.
You can use it for good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually do think that like the media narrative, what you're saying, guys hear that.
Yeah.
Fans hear that. I think that it's a powerful tool to utilize as a current player.
Yeah.
So I actually really think it was something good for me and Travis to do that together. Not just fun, but I think it was beneficial.
And so, how do y'all prep? Like, what goes into making a show?
Yeah, we have an amazing team at Wave, and they give us a rundown of what the show's going to look like for the week the night before. Yeah. And you kind of read that, you're kind of going over it. And usually in season, we're recording Tuesday. Yeah. So we'll get that rundown Monday night. And from there, you're kind of going through it. You're thinking about things. We're in a group chat, so we're texting all week of, hey, I think, this was interesting from that game, or, this happened during the week. I'd like to touch on it and the deal, but for the most part, we get that rundown, and then the next day we're coming back in the pre-show with notes on things that we like about it, bits that we want to take out. Maybe we're like, I don't really want to talk about that. So, and then we do the show.
You let it fly. Who's your favorite guest so far?
Man, I really like the Jalen Hurts one. I'm not gonna lie. And I would like to do more teammates. Yeah. I did a bunch of coaches at the Combine, but I really like doing the Jalen one. And I thought that, I think he's a special person and player, so it was awesome for everyone else to see that side of him. Yeah. Because, he's a very, in most media settings, he's a very buttoned up, like.
Dude, he's like this.
Yeah, man.
When I met him, I was like, man, he's just like this.
Yeah, and it's not an act. Like, that's who he is.
No, yeah.
But I think letting him open up, show his personality a bit more, I thought was awesome.
Yeah.
And it was a joy to do that with Trav and him. I thought the Howie one was good.
Resman.
Dude, Howie and our podcast team right after the show that we did with Howie, they're like, hey, if Howie ever wants to do his own podcast, like we will sign him in a second.
He could do it.
Yeah, he's got that gift.
Did he tell you something you don't know on that show?
Trying to remember.
Because he's pretty sharp with like the non-answers and the, know.
He didn't really shy away from everything. Yeah. I mean, anything. Yeah. He told us a story about Terrell Owens, which I think T.O.
wasn't happy about.
Well, he refuted on Twitter.
What was it again? It was.
So he said there was a story about. I asked him, "What's your welcome to the NFL moment?" Right, and he said, "So we're having this whole contract issue with T.O. He's on a plane with them, and he's sitting behind him, and they're held up. The plane's like waiting for one more passenger. Sure enough, it's T.O. He comes on, and he jacks the seat back into Howie, and he has to sit with T.O.'s seat in his lap the whole
Maybe
flight.
T.O.'s just a recline guy.
Maybe he is. That's what but at the end of it, I think and this is what T.O. I think really refuted, besides not, I don't think remembering the altercation at all, was, how he said something like, oh my gosh, I'm trying to remember.
There's something walking off the plane.
As he was walking off, oh my God, I don't want to miss it. It was a swear word. I know there's a swear word in there, and I guess T.O. doesn't swear. So he was like, anybody knows
T.O. came on the
that
show.
I wouldn't say that.
Anybody knows.
I think something like that.
I like T.O., dude.
I don't have a problem with him. I don't know him.
Oh, he's really
and
cool.
He was an unbelievable player.
Dude, he's really cool.
Okay.
I'm just like the times I've been around him, and I'm a pretty good judge. I'm not a good judge of character, but I'm a tough critic.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of egos out there and guys you meet that you're just like, holy shit, get a load of that guy. Like,
I have heard from the most people that know T.O., most people have said positive things.
Yeah.
There's obviously something that went down with the Eagles, and I don't know what that is. So that's why, I didn't even want to get into this Twitter
who do you
back and forth.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't even
want
to get involved.
That's what I was
this.
thinking about with you, because I was like, it's weird when somebody comes on your show.
Sure.
And says something that pisses somebody else off, and you're like, I'm just the fucking journalist.
Yeah, well, I mean, but he offered to come make the record straight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And listen, I think that's a tremendous opportunity, but I don't...
Like, Gerald McCoy came on our show and was talking about how him and Sapp weren't getting along.
Oh,
and
really?
It was, there were some details that didn't paint
Dude,
Sapp.
Gerald McCoy played with Sapp?
Well, no, but Gerald afterwards, wanted, when he left for Carolina or something like that, or Dallas or wherever he was, they gave his number away right away, and he was kind of like,
Gotcha.
And then Warren Sapp was like, that's not a fucking code break, dude. You didn't do anything here.
Gotcha.
In so many words, like, you didn't do what me and John Lynch did. You didn't do what.
Well, I mean,
but and there's something to that, but as a player, you can't blame Gerald McCoy for being on bad teams. I mean, he was great.
Yeah,
but I felt in the aftermath of that, I was like, man, I hope Sapp's not looking at me like, you're nodding along.
Well, you're taking his
story.
side. Yeah.
I don't want to make enemies with Warren Sapp. No. But I do feel like doing the pod, I don't know if you feel this at all, but I feel like a fucking goofball sometimes.
Oh, for sure.
You're just like, I talk for a living. Well, you're doing other shit for a living.
Yeah.
But sometimes you're just, cutting it on and cutting up and you worry fans think you're talking too much. You're giving too much. You're like, am I this guy now? You know?
Yeah. And, most of the best social clips online have been when we kind of are way off script
fucking
and
around.
we're just fucking around.
Yeah.
So I think, I don't know. We try to do that.
Yeah.
We want to let Travis and I's relationship actually come forward in the podcast. So, the best episodes, whether it's interviews with people or just episodes with me and him, happen when we're not just following the script.
You're off the script.
Yeah. I think, we just interviewed Andy Reid, and Andy's was fantastic.
He was awesome.
Andy.
Yeah.
But, for us, it kind of happened quickly. And I flew out there that morning, and I didn't have time to read anything.
It's fucking great.
And then when you're in the moment, you haven't read it beforehand, you end up being a little bit more bulleted. And I wish I would have had more.
You're more interested in your mind.
Yeah.
You're just, and so that's going to reflect positively, the way you remember the interview, and then you'll go back and look at it
Yeah.
When people at home aren't like, I've heard that before.
Yeah.
You and your brain are like, I prepped for this. It bores me.
And some of the ones that I haven't. I'm like, man, I wish I would have gotten more deep into that conversation. Some of those episodes have done great, and people love them. Like you're saying, it's interesting what I think while I'm doing it. I'm like, oh, that episode's going to suck.
Very
and then it goes online, and it's like,
Yeah.
man, that thing did great.
Yeah. People like you no matter
People
what.
love talking about Harry Potter houses.
Yeah. What was I, Gryffindor?
Yeah, you're Gryffindor for sure.
What is that?
It's a good
thing.
So the way I think in the Harry Potter world, the houses work. You have 4 houses. You have Gryffindor is ambition, but for doing good.
Yeah. Charity
Slytherin,
guys.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
But ultimately, they're team guys. So I guess
Yeah.
Slytherin's kind of team too.
You think I was a team guy?
For sure.
Really?
Yeah,
Because
absolutely.
I think I'm kind of selfish.
I think everybody's selfish.
Okay.
But I think when you can put aside those things for the betterment of the team, when you help other guys play better, whether it's through your personality or offering advice or whatever.
That's good. I'm not that guy.
I think you're okay. There's a reason you won 2 Super Bowls consecutively.
So my co-host Macon is slithering.
I would say that's probably accurate because he's smart. Like Slytherin is, but
not always.
He could also be Ravenclaw. So Ravenclaw and Slytherin are smart.
Yeah.
Right. Ravenclaw can also be evil, but typically Slytherin is like your ambition, and your ambition is to like get over on everybody to be bad.
Who'd you put as a Slytherin on your podcast?
Man,
because that's tough because you got to put a bad.
I know. Well, so I like Aaron Rodgers a lot, but I put him in Slytherin.
Yeah, because he's kind of made himself a villain.
A little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, and I think I hope that this.
I'm pulling for the Jets, bro, because Joe Douglas and
some of the best wizards in the wizarding world come from Slytherin. And not all of them are bad.
And he is one of the best wizards.
But I would say he's got that vibe. I mean,
of all time.
Of all time.
Well, we can't make this a breakout because they already did it on their fucking show. Okay, so we were talking about T.O. earlier.
Yeah.
I'm kind of wondering, who do you think are like the most misunderstood Eagles, like that fans should maybe like more? You know, like if you were to sell somebody, like I'll give you one, Nelson Aguilar.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, poor guy drops the ball, then he's a meme because the guy.
I really like that.
The guy at the news was like, unlike Aguilar.
I'm
like, fuck, man. But
dude, people are creative, man. It's crazy.
But Nelly was a hard worker. He was a good guy.
Yeah.
And he was a good player.
I love that pick.
Yeah.
Nelly was one of the most unselfish.
There's probably better picks, but that's why.
I don't know, man. I mean, dude, like this is something stupid that not everybody else is going to appreciate, but like, you're running dive solid or like an inside run and the receivers got to go in there and dig the safety out.
Yeah, dude.
Not everybody, newsflash, not all receivers want to go do that.
Yeah, dude.
And Nelly will, without question, go in there and try and do that.
Yeah.
And to me, he was willing to do whatever the coaches put on his plate.
Yep.
He tried to get better. I mean, he was on the jugs machines nonstop.
Yeah.
There wasn't like a lack of effort or like want to.
Yeah.
I really, really enjoyed Nelson as a teammate, even though there were some drops.
Yeah.
But I think that as a teammate, I don't think anybody can question that. And he's done. I don't know. He's had seasons where it hasn't been like that.
No.
Like the 2017 season, he played phenomenal.
No, and he was.
And then he did good in New England,
Vegas.
Or was Vegas?
Vegas as well, right?
Yeah,
yeah. He
had a good year,
well
and then he
there.
went to New England after that. Following my friends really well.
It's hard. Well, earlier you were like, remember when you were on that team and Carson got the concussion? I'm like, I was on the couch.
All right, so who would I put? I think first of all, I think great pick by you. I don't know that I can say this anymore because I think people are starting to appreciate him, but I think Lane was the one that I would have said for years.
People were down on Lane?
I don't think they were down on him. I just don't think that he got the respect he deserved.
Yeah, he deserved.
He should be at this point, accolade-wise, with all pros and Pro Bowls, the way Trent Williams and all these other highly decorated guys are, and he just isn't yet.
Yeah.
But I think from an on-field performance, I really don't think. And you look at the guys that he's blocked, and the way we don't chip or do things that help him out. I think people are seeing that.
He's on
now.
Johnson Island.
So I think that's not an accurate one anymore.
People fucking get after McNabb.
They do, but I don't know Donovan. So
I don't know him well either.
I can't speak to the
But as a player, though,
God,
the guy was amazing.
I mean, you can't deny the stats and the production.
I mean, he's the whole, to me, as like a young guy, he's the whole reason that the Eagles had this history. Like I know, like I wasn't around for the 80s or the early 90s. But,
sure.
When I came here, I was like overwhelmed by all the lore and like kind of it's just, and not to say if Donovan wasn't here, but he bridged that gap and kept the Eagles very relevant and very respectable on national stage for a lot of years.
Well, yeah, I mean, Andy's first run right there with Donovan and Brian Dawkins and all those guys. Yeah. I mean, they had some unbelievable teams. Yeah. And, Donovan was towards the top of the league and all of that stuff. So I don't, I did not pay close enough attention to the Eagles in that era.
Yeah.
I know that he was very good. I know that the defense was very solid with Jim Johnson. I mean, so he's probably more maligned than he should be. I would bet.
How was the Goodell interview?
Great.
Like
Roger was phenomenal.
Yeah, he's actually pretty damn personable.
Dude, so we first of all, when they flew this by, I was like, is this really happening? He's going to come on and just do this? And so the bit was he was going to announce us like we're draft picks to like everybody thinks we're going to come out on the stage, right? Yeah. It's because it's our show. We don't tell anybody Roger's going to be there. And the commish goes out there, and then he's the one that announces that we're coming out, and then we interview him. And he had like this whole monologue written up, and it was like detailed about the show, which I'm sure he had help on. But either way, his ability to deliver with like timing and like, I mean, it was impressive, and it was something that I wasn't expecting at all.
Yeah.
So I was laughing my ass off on the side of the stage at some of the stuff he was saying. Yeah. And then, I mean, I almost feel like doing it live in an audience setting took away from probably how good the interview could be.
You guys did that like a live show.
Yeah, and it was our first time ever doing it. Yeah. So, and there's things.
Was that the show? It was draft week.
Yeah.
When
it wasn't aired live.
Was that the week you became bald?
Yeah.
Okay, show people. And honestly, I think you look good, man. I told you this before you came on. I was like, bro, like when I see that, you're convinced you're thinning. Like I see thinning and
just
winning.
Wait to that light.
I see a guy who's thinning and winning. I don't see somebody who's like going bald. I think you should keep the haircut, bro.
Hey, I think I am going to keep it.
Okay, good.
Because one, if I'm going bald, I'm going bald. There's nothing I can really do
there are
about
things we
that.
can do about it.
That's true.
We were talking about that in the Hertz parking lot.
there are modern advances in medicine. Yeah. There's stuff you can do now, I guess.
I hear there's a spray.
That's what I've been looking at.
You've been looking at?
I've been looking at
it. I've been looking at.
Yeah. There's a, I don't know how far are we going to go down this rabbit hole?
I'll go down it.
But, this is the stuff people love.
There's a lot of guys who are balding out there that want to know like what they're hearing.
The question is, the active ingredient in that stuff is supposedly women that are trying to have babies or pregnant aren't supposed to touch.
Finasteride.
Yes.
I don't know how I know that.
Right. Why would they? You take the pill form of it.
Kills your boners.
That's one of the side effects of some people.
So they say.
But the pill form, nobody else is touching it, right? Mm-hmm. If you spray it, the concern is, well, the stuff's just spraying. I mean, it's a mist, right?
Yeah, so it could be
like
in your
maybe
eyes.
This is getting like I'm spraying on my head. It's getting on my wife's toothbrush or something like that. Like, but the positive is that you don't get like the serum levels of it. So, anyways, I had an appointment with a doctor that I already missed.
Yeah.
So
is it like a little, the spray butter? You remember the spray butter?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it like that? It's like a little container like that with a little white top.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm in, dude. I'm in, bro.
I told this to my dad, and my dad was like, don't put those chemicals on your head, son.
You would have a good bald head, though. You know how some guys have a fucked up looking head when they go bald.
I'm getting more used to it.
Yeah.
You're
not bald, dude.
The bald and beard look is in right now.
It is in. So, it's timeless. Yeah. All right, so guest-wise, if you could have any guest, usually we'd say dead or alive.
Okay.
You could have any dead guest. Obviously alive, but dead currently. Who would that be?
Time out. Am I doing dead or alive?
Dead.
Dead. Okay.
But they're going to be alive for the interview.
That's good. That's positive.
It's a good thing. Your producers are on it.
Oh, man.
Don't say Jesus or something. No, I mean, that'd be great. But
that'd be a great get.
It'd be great.
He's the number one bookseller all time. I think. I think I'd go.
Tom Clancy doesn't have him, or
I don't know.
One of these guys.
You sure Jack Reacher hasn't caught him? I think.
And you get a translator, so if you want like Genghis Khan, you could definitely talk to him.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Man. Botch this.
Well, no hurry. They're dead. They're not going anywhere.
Right. I would. Oh man. Like I don't know if I want to go like Martin Luther King, like historical figure. Mm-hmm. Or if I want to go like my grandfather,
you're just going through
that I never met. Like I'm trying to think, like, do I want to keep this within the family, or am I trying to go, for like just knowledge and and frame of reference of like a different time.
I think the knowledge of frame of reference might play well.
Yeah, I think maybe one of the I don't know, maybe one of the founding fathers.
Didn't one of Siegfried and Roy die? One of the Siegfried and Roy guys? I'd love to have that guy on.
This is the one that got eaten by the tiger?
Yeah, how was it?
What'd it feel like?
You know what I'm saying?
That's an interesting take.
Yeah.
Not necessarily for gain of like
your life
accomplishments of like
how was
what
that?
You did, but like what does it feel like when you're being eaten alive?
Exactly.
That's a good take.
That's not a bad take. All right, how about alive?
Alive?
Might be easier.
Man,
this is a pretty big podcast, so we can get this out for you.
Chris Long.
Chris Long. I'm
right.
on, dude.
All right, perfect.
I'm on. You just got to keep me alive.
Then I'll change my
Do I get to come in person or do we got to do it on Zoom?
Well, I would prefer it in person.
Yeah.
I like doing the interviews in person.
I do too.
But it's hard to get Trav in there too. We've done one with Pat where him and Pat were in person and I was virtual.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that would be preferable.
Yeah. Have you guys had your first big fight yet, you and Trav? Like on the media side?
I walked out during one of the podcasts.
No shit.
Which is not. I texted him last night too. He got all upset because I don't even know if I want to say
Little
this.
brothers, dude. Little brothers. It's
no,
okay.
but there was something like I like. We were talking about this exact thing. Who should we have on the podcast? And he threw a name out there. I was like, that guy sucks. I don't want to talk.
YouTuber or TikToker.
And it was bigger than that. But Trav,
yeah, well,
I forgot.
Trav was like,
"Oh yeah, you don't want that."
catalog.
Yeah, Trav was like, "Yo, this was like high."
Yeah,
like, hey,
I'm trying to see the
sky.
You're getting an idea of what kind of guests we have because I'm like DMing the rotisserie chicken guy from Philly, trying to meet him.
Those are the type of people
I'm trying to meet that guy for a chicken.
I would rather talk to that guy.
I know, but Travis wants to talk to like
correct. Yeah, he's like, anyways. Perfectly would be a great episode.
Yeah.
But like I said something to him and he was like, "Oh, you're one to talk." Like he got like mad about it and he was gonna say something, but then he didn't. So I'm like texting him after. I'm like, "What were you gonna fucking say? What'd you want to say to me?"
Yeah.
So yeah, I think first of all, I get upset very easily. I've got upset at anything really, but
I don't think you've ever got upset at me. No, you did. You did get upset.
What
at
did
me.
I get upset with you about?
On Kelly.
I did get mad about that.
You were mad at me.
You didn't warn me.
But I was mad at you too. Fucking, if you listen to the podcast, Jace was on like a year or two ago. I think we talked about this, but basically went up Kelly for Waterboys and we kicked ass. We did great, but Jason didn't read the brochures as closely as some.
Well,
and we got back
down. You didn't lie to me. You just didn't disclose.
I didn't. Yeah.
Connor just flayed. I mean, maybe his year was easier, but he was like, "Oh yeah, you'll be fine. It's not that bad."
That was the problem. Connor did really well, and so you listen to Connor, and then
I listened to a guy who weighs way less than me, and is in much better shape.
Well, when we were coming down to the first camp after you summit, I get down. I remember like behind me is Haloti, and they got Haloti on like a fucking stretcher.
In the wheelbarrow.
He looks like an emperor. They're fucking like 8 East African dudes wheeling Haloti down the mountain. They don't look like they think it's very funny. I walk into the tent and I'm like, guys, yeah, and Kelce's there. They're like, you didn't tell me. You didn't tell me.
So, how many days was it before the final night?
6 or 5.
5?
Yeah, 4 or 5.
So for everyone's reference, we're climbing the roof of Africa.
Yeah, that's what they call it.
5 days. That last day,
you're climbing the house. You're not on the roof until you're on the roof.
You're hiking for 5 days.
Yeah,
it's exhausting, and you're camping and stuff. But for the most part,
I know the amputees felt that way as well.
That's a fair point. Fair point. I mean, but dude, the last night you wake up 12 a.m. and you wake up before that. You're trying to start at 12 or something. But I was under the impression, you were going to be up there by sunrise, and it's just we'll see. But we're going. You can't even. It's
ignoring
so steep.
The itinerary.
It's so steep. You can't even go straight up the mountain. You have to go switchbacks.
Yeah. They don't have them in Ohio.
No, they do not. It's not an Ohio thing.
Cleveland Heights is a misnomer.
Hey, it's got some hills to it. Not hilly enough for switchbacks.
Yeah.
Dude, and we were doing that, and I'm not exaggerating.
7 hours.
7 hours.
Yeah.
in the pitch black. All you can see is a headlamp on the ground.
You would have been mad this year. We made it in 6.
You guys made it in
We didn't
6.
take a lot of breaks.
That's good.
Yeah.
No, I would have preferred that.
Yeah.
Because I do think once you get above, what is it, 1,800 feet? That's
18,
like when
000.
Sorry, 18,000.
1,800 would be.
Should lowball it
Yeah,
in a bit. Yeah, at 18,000 feet, that's like when your body physically can't replenish the oxygen, right?
Yeah, something like that.
So, especially for fat guys. But the more time you're above that, the more it kind of sets in. So I think it's actually behooves you to operate quickly. And we were not.
We were not.
We had
Yeah.
a Lodi, and dude, it was unbelievable.
Amputees
Everybody
needed
made
some
it up
breaks
but
as
one
well.
guy. Everybody
Yeah.
made it up but one guy.
Yeah, everybody but one guy.
Who
Bo
got
made
altitude
it.
sickness.
Bo made it, and Bo was mad at Haloti.
Bo was mad at the overwhelming joy everybody got
For
seeing
Haloti.
Haloti. He was
mad at Haloti because
he was so petty.
Motherfucker.
He's like, I'm almost as heavy as he is, and nobody's celebrating me.
He was stomping down that fucking valley like a 6-year-old. We were just buzzing by him for 3 hours on the way down. Like, hey, Bo. He was like, I'm not. He threw up on his shoes and was mad because we laughed at him.
Dude, as I'm coming down the descent portion of what we did for 7 hours, and you're basically just jumping down the mountain
To get the fuck off.
Yeah, I gotta get down quick. I look at some point I pass Bo.
Yeah.
He is just sitting like a 2-year-old in the rocks.
He giving up, dude.
And I'm like, what happened? He's like, man, my guide left me.
Yeah, dude. He just, everybody did it on purpose. You know, like he had a bad day and it's everybody else's fault and it was on purpose.
He was the most.
And it was personal.
Yeah, he was full Eeyore on the side of the mountain in Killy. But no,
you haven't been mad at me much, but Travis maybe every once.
Were you mad at him when Chris sent you to an airport where people shit in the urinal?
I wasn't mad at that.
Oh, that was fucking
crazy.
funny,
that was
dude.
Nuts. I've
when
never
you
seen
came
anything
to
like
visit me for the Kelly reunion.
Yeah, I mean, you fly into like Charlottesville, Virginia. You're
Nice,
expecting
clean
like,
airport.
Yeah, I mean, this is like a very forward thinking area of the country,
So
right?
you think?
Yeah. And then you go in there.
You said Virginia's forward thinking.
Well, Charlottesville is,
Charlottesville,
right?
yes.
And I go into the bathroom, and right away there's just an overwhelming waft where I'm like, man, somebody blew this up.
Yeah.
Like it is very pungent. Like you can taste it. Like it's that thick. And then I go to the urinal to pee after coming off the plane, and sure enough, there is a full-on turd in the urinal.
It's a fucking cow pie.
Dude, and
It's
I'm
like
just-
it was like soft serve.
Like,
It just
I've never been so shocked.
Yeah.
And and as I've gone back thinking about
It's
it,
midday.
yeah, I'm like, how bad of a situation was this guy in?
And how does that happen?
I mean, the only thing that logically makes sense is there weren't that many
Gosh.
stalls. The stalls were taken up, and
Yeah.
this guy had been holding it all flight.
That's aggressive.
And
there's
he's
a
like, dude,
fucking bathroom in the by the baggage.
I mean, just
terminal.
go in the trash can.
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing in the urinal? Like,
I would ask you the weirdest place you've shit, but I probably know that.
Ocean for sure.
Yeah, when you got time.
I don't know that that's that weird.
No,
yeah,
it's not. You got.
That was a lake actually, but
You've done lakes too.
I've done lakes and oceans.
Okay, good.
Big body of water.
So, what is it? Last thing on the show. This is some good marketing here. We're just talking about our pod rundown is like Jason Kelce talks about new heights on the Green Light Pod. We were going to make you pick actually see how many owners you can recognize because I thought it was so funny.
Oh, dude, I'm getting none of them.
Yeah, you wouldn't get any of them.
We can do it.
No, I don't want you to do
I
it.
did the same head coaching thing. I'll put this on record. I did the same thing Travis did
And
right after he
struggled?
did it. Yeah, I didn't know Josh McDaniels doesn't look like Josh McDaniels in that photo. I don't care what
No, he
anybody
doesn't.
says.
No.
And there were multiple people that I didn't know, but because I was second afterwards, I was able to deduce it as we kind of went through it with Travis.
And speaking of this,
Yeah.
I figured out what I wanted to ask you.
Okay.
What's Travis's worst take so far?
I mean, the head coach one is bad.
Well, that's not a take. It's just he doesn't have
It's a good point.
knowledge.
It's just- yeah,
He doesn't
okay.
pay attention to the people in the NFL.
You know,
What about the Schwarzenegger take?
so that's the one that immediately comes to mind.
that
'cause
fucking shit, like
it's
it
bad.
physically made me feel something. I was
bad.
like, what?
Well, anybody who grew up watching Schwarzenegger,
Yeah.
I mean, that was like,
Terminator 2 is like the first movie I saw.
dude, I still remember when that freaking he's
That
on
was
the
my
phone
Bluey.
and the freaking hand
Yeah.
gets morphed and goes through her mouth.
Oh yeah. Oh no, the milk carton.
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh,
she-
yeah.
Yeah, she's by the refrigerator.
Yeah.
And homeboy just impales
Bam.
her. Yeah. Or when he's running after the car and he just he's fast as shit. The
Yeah.
whole thing.
It's Terminator.
But the take was Travis said that The Rock
Yeah,
had a better
he had to take that.
IMDb.
The Rock had a better movie career than Schwarzenegger.
Yeah,
which
no,
is
that's not the
ridiculous.
case.
Yeah. And then he tried to walk it back and act
really
like his
believe- he
take was
believed that?
well. I think he meant he's just like the same level of star status.
Yeah,
which
well,
I think is
that's true.
that's a valid statement.
Yeah.
but he
Bigger,
tried
maybe.
to say it was bigger, like he's on par with him movie wise, which is ridiculous.
That's ridiculous.
And then he walked it back by saying like, well, I think his WWE career alone suffices. I was like,
That's not a movie.
That's not a movie,
Makes
bro.
no sense.
Like,
I figured you probably had a couple takes in mind where he's just. All right, so with the Eagles now this year, a lot of new faces, a lot of them rookies as usual, but I felt like it was a really exciting class because of the Georgia thing, and
sure.
because some guys fell.
yeah, I mean, nobody thought Jalen Carter was going to be there.
I feel like Howie kind of had a feeling.
You think so?
Yeah, because he's just ready to make that splash pick. Like,
Sure.
and I know that like you don't have to be ready for it to make it because it's right there, but
Yeah, and I mean, dude, he does his homework.
Yeah.
Like it's not like I feel like there's always some level of you don't really quite know how it's all going to pan
Yeah.
out, but I feel like he knew if the draft went that way that he was going to go do what he did.
yeah.
And yeah, I mean the kid looks the part,
Boy, he does.
dude.
Buddy, I saw him in mesh shorts over at the rookie photo day.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm like, this guy, I mean, like a lot of times I said this off camera, but like you're breaking down somebody's tape in football pads, it's end zone, it's not. The guys that really get an idea of what these kids look like, they're standing next to him on the fucking sideline. I can remember when I stood next to Isaiah Simmons before the Orange Bowl, the big safety hybrid
Yeah.
linebacker in Arizona.
Yep.
And he ran by me, and I was like, "Who the fuck is
Who
that?"
was that?
And that's the same feeling I had when I saw Jalen
Yeah.
at that, like in mesh shorts. It's
Dude.
like he's just built so pro ready.
Yes, and I saw him on his top 30 visit, shook his hand. It was like shaking like a big meat paw. Bear.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a very muscle bound, mature, physically looking guy.
Yeah.
Who looks like physically he's ready to go
Yeah.
right away. We haven't done a lot of football yet.
Yeah,
as
that's the
know,
thing. I could ask you how
OTAs
they
are way
look, but
different.
it doesn't make it
we used
doesn't
to
make
put,
a shit.
we used to put helmets on and actually block people in OTA.
Oh, you guys don't put helmets on at all anymore.
It's all hats, and it's all on air or like offensive guys servicing.
I
and
miss the
playing
boat
defense.
so fucking bad.
The what?
The boat to recovery island. Having days off.
Yeah.
No helmets.
Yeah.
Like fucking.
Water park day today, man. We're
Dude, you gotta
we're
be kidding
playing
me.
paintball.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
But what do you? I mean, like, you've played a lot of good D tackles, and
Yeah.
you've played a lot of highly touted players that maybe weren't what you thought they'd be.
Yeah,
Early in their career, and you can kind of pinpoint like, oh, this guy's hips are stiff, or like, hey, this guy's. You're like, I'll play a tackle and be like, oh, well, that's what they were missing. Like, I know.
Yeah.
What usually separates the good young tackles on the defense side of the football from the ones that you're like, that guy's got a ceiling?
well, your ability to block them is.
Yeah,
but
simply.
yeah. I mean, it kind of depends on.
It was like when I asked Landon Dickerson in media day. I was like, I had never met him. First, I sit down. I had remember we came to the media thing?
Of course.
And
was
so
awesome.
I was like catching up with you guys, and I'd never met Landon. And I sit down because he's got Nate Herbig's jersey on.
That's
I'm
right.
like, "Man, Nate Herbig is a big motherfucker, isn't he now?" And I was like, Landon.
You said Landon.
I said Landon.
And he was messing
he
with you.
goes, I'm Nate Herbig.
Nate Herbig.
And so I'm like, oh, fuck, I got to think of a Nate Herbig question real quick. And I was like, so Nate, and he's like, I'm Landon. And he doesn't laugh. And I'm like, there's something wrong with this guy.
Yeah, he's got a good,
a
dry humor to
yes.
him. Like,
and then I asked him, I was like, so Landon,
yeah.
now that we've got it square, what do you not want to do against Chris Jones? Like, what's something you don't want to do against Chris Jones? And he's like, not let him hit Jalen Hurts. And I'm like, okay, this interview's over.
Nah, thanks for that.
Yeah. So what? So other than blocking
I think it
Jalen
depends.
Carter, like what?
I think it depends on First of all, are they a nose or are they a 3?
Yeah.
Like what kind of player is he? But I think right away when you're playing them, you notice if they have the threat of like power. Right?
Yeah.
Do they have that jolt, right? And then seeing how quick twitch they are, I think there's certain guys that right away, like you just kind of watch them do a drill. And similar to what you were just saying, like I don't envy like scouts watching tape because I watched a few guys on tape. And then they get there, and everybody's kind of, you don't really know until you like see them in person just how quick they are, how fast they move. I think certain guys just like remind you of other players when they move, and that kind of
that is a big help, dude.
No,
I feel
for
like
sure.
if I was scouting, like I know people shit on comps, but like at least body types.
I've never liked comps, but I think that sometimes when you just see a guy that reminds you of another guy, there's something to that. Like when you anatomically move
the way that guy,
moves. Somebody else who was a good player moves. Yeah. And you bend the same way.
Yeah.
And so I think that's one thing.
Does he remind you of anybody moving around?
Man, I don't want to like put like a certain like.
Say it.
Huh? No, I think.
Say it. Oh, he's not as good.
I have not seen him enough out there to say that. I mean, we just lost a really, really good D tackle in Hargrave, and obviously we still have Fletch.
Yeah,
and he kind of reminds me on some elements a little bit of both of those
right.
guys.
That's pretty good when you get a little piece.
Yeah, like he's thick in the lower body the way Hargrave was.
Yeah.
But I'm going to be interested to see what his hands feel like because
Fletch has heavy hands.
Dude, I've only noticed 2 players like grip strengths in my career. One is Fletcher Cox. The other one, like oddly enough, was Clay Matthews.
Really?
I don't know why. Yeah.
Really?
He had that one year where like he was playing inside backer.
Yeah, so he'd
in like short yardage situations, they'd walk him up over the center to build a 5 down front, right? And he grabbed my shoulder. I was like, dude, this guy's got some strong hands. I was not expecting that.
I wouldn't expect that answer either.
No, I was saying this on the back of a bus one time, and
somebody else.
Rich Rod was in this earshot. Yeah. And I said Fletch, and I was like, and you know who the other guy was? And Rich Rod randomly said Clay Matthews. I'm like, this guy's got strong hands if somebody's randomly offering that up.
Yeah.
But, I think, he's kind of got some like Daron Payne to him too. Look, like just body stature. He bends really well. Like those, like Daron also sits with his like ass kind of down, kind of like in a 2-gap stance, even when he's playing a 1-gap, like 3 technique. And that's kind of how he looks a little bit, I feel like, in his stance. So I haven't seen enough of him to like say yet, but just walking around, I don't know, you just see somebody like lift weights.
Yeah,
and, like,
it's just
if
fucking
it all
impressive.
Moves
I know
right,
I haven't seen him play football yet, but look at that motherfucker.
Yeah, yeah. And like everything just looks like it moves right.
Yeah.
And he kind of, in some ways, one of the things that I learned after watching Jason Peters like over and over again, was like this dude's like never doesn't look like he's like not in control or in the right body position in his prime, especially.
Yeah.
It was like almost like he was just always in balance.
Yeah.
It kind of feels like that. Like even like, I don't know.
Is JP still playing?
He is. Yeah.
Where is he?
Well, he hasn't retired yet.
But
I think he's a free agent.
Where was he last year?
He
was
Dallas. Yeah.
Dallas. It was Chicago, Dallas. Did fans freak out about the Dallas thing?
I mean, obviously people are upset, but I mean,
you're in the business.
Yeah. I mean, he's not.
Guys,
just talking about
he's signing a 5-year deal.
Like, it's
not.
Exactly. For some reason, the NFC East, I feel like that has happened a lot.
Yeah, but Deshaun left, and people loved Deshaun here. Deshaun played for the Redskins at the time.
He did.
Yeah, I mean, like you would think,
right? Yeah,
that would disqualify you from. Yeah, if you're going to be mad at JP.
For some reason, I feel like the guys that have done that, it's Eagles fans haven't held it against them. And I certainly hope they don't hold it against you.
So how about the offensive line rookies and just the way it's shaping up? I know Juergens is like you think he's in a great situation, right? I mean, like,
Yeah, I mean, I think Juergens could have played last year and played
on some bad team, but then, like it's not as good a situation.
I mean, we had a really, really good group.
Yeah.
But I think he could have played last year and played at a very, very high level.
Yeah.
Extremely athletic. He's smart. got all the talent in the world.
Yeah.
Strong as an ox.
Yeah.
He's gonna have to put some weight on if he's gonna play guard, which he's already started doing.
Right.
Actually, towards last year, he told me he was kind of like hovering around 307, which I think guard ideally 320.
320. Yeah.
Ideally, but with how strong he is, I think he could be in that like 310, 315 range and still play really, really well. I don't know if I'm setting his weight, but
well, you now have to make that weight, buddy.
But no, I mean he's really strong. We have obviously the rookie that we drafted, Tyler Steen.
Yeah.
And man, everybody keeps saying it. I saw Brandon Brooks last week. I mean, there's major. We talk about guys moving and kind of reminding you of guys.
Yeah.
There's kind of even just this kid's mannerisms.
The kid from Bama.
Yeah, right tackle from Bama. I think he was at Vandy. Just his mannerisms.
Yeah.
Kind of. There's a lot of things where people. Before I even saw him, people were like these kids were giving off major Brandon Brooks vibes.
It's a good vibe to give off.
It's a great vibe in the Eagles building. That's like about as good of a vibe as you
really
can
good
give
vibe,
off.
dude. That's awesome.
And and this is something. I mean, I think I can say this because I think it's proven to not be the case. But I didn't watch any tape on him. All I saw was like highlights after he got drafted.
Yeah.
Right? As with all the draft picks for the most part. And I'm watching him move. I'm like, man, he looks big and looks the part. But I wonder how fast his feet are, stuff like that. And then you see him in drills. Okay,
Yeah.
that's not
quick.
I mean, the feet are moving really, really well.
Yeah.
And that's where I feel like you're like watching tape on somebody. Your feet are only going to move as fast as they need to go.
Yep.
Like if you're playing a guy that ain't working an edge.
Yeah,
or
a lot of
making you
times
move,
the NFL can.
It doesn't
raise
make
the
sense
level.
to just like
Yeah.
move your feet for no reason. I think so. In some ways, I think he was like so quick and athletic that he's just in position and didn't need to do that.
Yeah.
But already in drills, you're seeing that. And like I said, anatomically, very, very similar. I don't ever want to put that type of, now he's got to be Brandon Brooks because that's a high freaking bar. I mean, if he's half the player that Brandon was, he's going to be one of the best guards in the
golden.
league.
Yeah.
But I think everybody really likes what they've seen out of Tyler so far. Then we got some other, oh my gosh, it's not good. Trevor from Louisville. What is Trevor Reed?
Oh, Trevor Reed.
REID.
And I saw him
Old
play in
Trevor
college.
Reed.
I saw him play in college.
Okay,
on
sure.
like a college game.
Sure you did.
I remember because I was
was
like,
the
why does
score?
this guy remind me? I do not remember that.
Yeah.
Then we got another rookie, Chim.
Yeah.
Don't know.
Good.
Stop calling him Chim. Long arms are long.
Chim?
I don't know if it's Chim or Shim.
Shim. Okay.
Gosh, please.
Okay.
It's not good.
It was Chim. Okay. Speaking of fucking up names, what did you think about Shane Spikeman getting a head coaching job? Did you hear Gronk call him Shane Spikeman on my dad's show? Shane Steichen?
Spikeman?
Yeah, he called him
Who called him
Spikeman.
that?
Gronk. Gronk was up at the desk with my
great.
dad. He was like, and I think with Shane Spikeman, they're going to run the ball, the whole thing. Yeah, he said it like 3 times. So what do you think about Shane Steichen as a head coach? Like, because when we talk, is Steichen or Steichen?
Steichen.
Okay.
So I'm correct.
I struggle with the fucking name.
Well, I mean, it's a CH. It looks like a.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what is it about this motherfucker that makes him a head coach? Because when I asked the guys last year, like everybody was like, yeah, he's got that kind of.
I think, first of all, I feel like when somebody like leaves, you kind of notice more things. You're like, man, that guy, like, there's something to that guy. And already, and I think Brian Johnson's doing a phenomenal job. But there's like, when Shane would do things that like, there's almost like he talks a million miles, like we got to do this, and he's over the top detailed and like wanting to, he would text me at random times at night, like, hey, we're going to do this. And then if this guy
Like
does
a 1
that-
a.m.
Yeah. Well, not 1 a.m., but he would text me at random times and just like, hey, what do you think about this? I think if we do this, we'll get him in this. And like, so he's just always on. He's always thinking. He's like, he perseverates about being great.
Yeah.
And he's a really, really good communicator. Like the best offensive coordinators I've been around don't just stay in the quarterback bubble, in my opinion. The best ones talk to the offensive linemen, they talk to the running backs. So they have this entire holistic view. Now, you still got to, it all runs through quarterback, right? But it benefits the play caller and the guy putting everything together to understand, okay, well, why in this run on a nub side are you going to this guy?
Yeah.
Like the quarterback's going up. So like it kind of, the frame of reference gets better.
Well, it's like as a D lineman when the DB coach can come in and say, "Hey, this is how we're forcing this."
Yeah,
you guys
exactly.
go with that,
Yeah.
like like there's a conversation that's ongoing.
So between the offensive line coaches and players, he's getting there. You're talking to everybody. I think Shane did a really, really good job of getting that. And I think a large part of being a good head coach is just that, is communicating.
Yeah,
right?
I agree.
Like,
biggest part of leadership, in my opinion, emotional intelligence, communication.
Yeah.
And obviously doing it.
Yeah. I mean, you still got to be good at and savvy and everything.
Yeah.
But so many guys just miss that portion. Like
Yeah.
they for whatever reason forget to do that, or you have like micromanagers who are like over the top, like, right? And then
What's the worst micromanaging you ever saw from a coach, without naming the coach?
Man,
I had a coach ask one of our reserve D tackles to move a delivery date on a baby because we were playing in a meaningless game in November in St. Louis. Yeah.
That's a big one.
Yeah.
Hey, do you mind not having your baby?
That's what it was. It was like, the baby, can you talk to the doctor about it maybe coming a different day?
Yeah, I mean,
just not that Sunday.
I don't have any instance like that. I could pinpoint like that, but I mean, I've had coaches that, they're just, whenever a coach that did not play offensive line or has never coached it or played it is offering up advice for what you should do to be successful on a play, is you wonder, okay, is this the best person to be taking advice from?
Well, it's also because you've had the best people to take advice from.
If you don't trust Jeff Stoutland for what's happening,
or Mudd, or
Howard Mudd,
the guys like
great
that,
point, But I never dealt with that in the league. I saw some micromanaging, I think, in college.
Yeah.
I think it's probably more commonplace in
They got to get
college
rid
as
of
well.
that. The coaches up here that try to come in and be these little Napoleons, man, it just never works out.
Yeah, it's not good.
And how about the Johnson-Hurts combo? How's that going to stand up this year?
What do you mean?
The OC and the new OC.
Oh, Brian Johnson. I thought you were talking about Lane.
I just like the Johnson-Hurts.
Well, I mean, so I think that's going to be fine. I think that both of those guys have known each other for a really long time. They think about the game very similarly. I think that Brian is a huge reason why Jalen made it ginormous step last year.
Yeah.
So I anticipate that to continue to go in that direction.
What's he like?
Brian, one of the things I really like about Brian is that Brian has the rare ability to make complex things simple and to not overdo things. Right. And I think that a lot of coaches can, I mean, especially in the offensive line, where we can go down all these rabbit holes, and Brian's like, okay, we just got to he's got a very calming presence. And I think that especially at that position is good.
Yeah.
It's also, especially when you have a guy like Jalen who's like freaking, he wants to go. Yeah. Like he's, it's a good dynamic.
Yeah, like a governor a little bit.
Yeah. And, he played quarterback. I just think he thinks about the game very much. He's got the coach's perspective, but he's also got the player's perspective. Every time we've ever had conversations, I just really like the vibe he gives off and the way he thinks about things. He's like, man, we just need to get to this, and that's going to get this guy in a rhythm, or that's going to. I think he's savvy.
Schedule just came out. What do you look at? Because I remember what I used to look at. Like Leighton, you look in your bye week, you look at the opponents, you look at like cold games, hot games. What are you looking at first as a player?
Thursday and bye week for sure.
And now they can flex the Thursday night
I'm
games.
kind of hoping we get a flex. I like Thursday games.
You like Thursday games?
Always like Thursday games.
That's why Roger Goodell want to come on your podcast.
Dude, I don't know why so many guys hate them. Why do guys not like Thursdays?
Well, because not all of us get days off. You know, you motherfucker.
Shots fired. Oh, gosh.
You know, like I'm out there
man.
on Tuesday, fucking, you know, in underwear trying to, you know, like I can't move.
Yeah, but the Thursday game is always walkthroughs.
It is, but well, not always. We used to practice on like, you know, Fish had us practice
St. Louis?
in St. Louis.
Wow.
Yeah, early in the week. We'd take Wednesday off, obviously, but
Sure,
like we'd have
yeah.
a Tuesday practice and that sort of thing.
That's amazing.
Yeah, dude. I gotta look back at how we did on Thursdays. Probably not real good.
No, I like Thursdays because it's walkthroughs in the middle of the week. The game's going to be a struggle.
Yeah.
But once that's over, you get 3 days off after that.
It's the mini buy, dude.
Yeah,
Now, if it's, you know, like one of these
Late
things
in
that
the
has to
season-
go on the road and then go on the road the next week, that kind
It's
of
a big
sucks.
advantage for the home team late in the season for that, I bet.
Okay, I want to play a little game of Would You Rather.
Would you rather?
And a lot of it's football.
Okay.
Okay. Playing in London or the Hall of Fame game. Would you rather?
I would rather play in London.
Yeah,
Can I alternate to Germany? I was
wanna go to
really
Mu-
hoping
you wanna
I was
land a
going to be able
Munich
to play
game.
in Germany.
Yeah.
And we didn't get it.
I feel like
this
you'd
year.
be huge in Germany.
So we kind of talked about this on our show, but Trav's game in Munich, his bye week is the week of our bye week.
Oh, yeah.
So he'll be in Germany. So I'm
yeah.
like, man, should I just go to
You
Germany?
should go.
Right?
We should go to Germany.
Let's all go to Germany.
Yeah, I'll take the RV. Take the RV. No, I mean, it seemed awesome. They landed really good games last year in Germany. The fans, I don't know what to make of that. But,
Yeah. So we played in London, and it was a great experience, I thought.
we had fun.
Yeah.
Did you go out after?
Yeah.
We went out
I think we both went out. Yeah.
Together?
I don't know where we were.
I was with
though.
Alshon. Were you with me and Alshon?
We went to some like club. Or something. Yeah.
We were
I
together.
forget what
It was
that
just like
was.
3-4 of
Yeah.
us. I was shit housed in London. Had no idea where I was. Could have got kidnapped. Could have
Yeah.
got beat up by a bunch of Peaky Blinders guys. Fucking woke up all hungover. Like, this is the worst city to be hungover in.
Yeah,
It's
for
so
sure.
dreary.
Yeah.
You know, London's cool. The playing surface kind of sucks.
It was terrible.
The food's
Yeah.
not great.
The food was bad.
I was being,
It was really bad.
yeah, but that's the word. But Munich.
Yeah.
German
I've heard
food.
nothing but good stuff about that and beer.
Yeah. So, okay, so we get the answer there. One time we were supposed to go to the Hall of Fame game.
Yeah.
But the CBA negotiations yielded the lockout in 2011.
Gotcha.
So we got it canceled. It was the best thing ever.
Yeah.
It's like the best thing ever.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Because that's
I don't-
I just having to do it. It's punitive to have to do 5 preseason.
yeah, I don't think I would ever want to do that.
Okay. Foam padded helmet or single crossbar face mask? This is from the guy.
That's a great question. I would go. Do I get to put a visor on the single crossbar?
yeah.
Because I probably go single crossbar and
Okay.
visor.
All right.
Yeah, the foam pads
Yeah.
on the helmet. I know it's anecdotal. When I hit somebody, I feel like my head snaps back harder with it.
Yeah.
And I can only speak from our perspective.
Yeah.
We had 2 tackles go down with concussions while wearing those things. And,
Okay,
yeah.
so-
So like, I don't know what the rest of the data says. Apparently it's all good.
Yeah.
But I am not, because to me, the majority of the time you get a concussion is when you get that like
Yeah.
whip.
Yeah.
It's not like the deadened impact of
Yes.
like a typical
Yeah.
football collision.
Yeah.
So I do think it's probably helping the like subconcussive hits or like just the normal stuff.
Yeah.
But when you actually like hit with that thing and the other person's doing that, there's a jolting to it, I think.
Sounds like the vaccine a little bit.
Yeah. Am I an anti? I'm an anti.
Are you
I'm the anti-vaxxer version of.
No, but Kelce, this helmet's supposed to keep other people from getting concussions as well. You know, I was thinking about. Okay, block Aaron Donald or Chris Jones.
Man,
Let me look at the
dude,
schedule real
neither.
quick. 'Cause I don't want to create any bulletin
I got
board
them
material.
both. I got them both.
Yeah. Do you this year?
Yeah, we played the Chiefs and the Rams. Dude, I don't want to block either of them.
Yeah.
But Aaron Donald's been the best player in the NFL for the
years.
last decade.
Yeah.
Especially defensive player. And it's up there for
Has he
best
gotten
player.
mad while you played against
Yes,
him? Because
almost every time.
He
gets mad at me for sliding to him. I'm like, Aaron, I'm not going to leave you one-on-one with a
That motherfucker will
guard
get mad
all
at
day.
anything, bro. He'll
He's
get-
like, stop helping. I'm like, dude, what do you think I'm just going to let you ruin the game?
Yeah,
like,
dude.
I'm not going to let you ruin the game.
Yeah.
We're going to double team you like everybody does. Why are you getting upset about this?
He's also the guy when he walks over, you're like, oh shit.
yeah.
Like, I don't need this.
Dude.
I like, hey.
I was fortunate enough to work out with him one time. And
So you kind of knew him.
So me and Connor, one of our college strength coaches, was a strength coach in Pittsburgh. Mm-hmm. So we worked out with him, and I tried to keep up with him in his workouts, and it was embarrassing.
Would you rather lose the Super Bowl or go 2-15?
I'd rather lose the Super Bowl, but I think mentally I'd probably cope with going 2-15 better.
I don't know, man. It's pretty tough.
I think 2-15 is a demoralizing feeling, and it's an awful experience while you're going through it. But there's some level. At some point, you get to this like realization that like, hey, we're just not good.
There's nothing we can do. And you look up after the Super Bowl, it's fucking February.
Yeah. It is very difficult to cope with
the time lost too. Like you lost a lot of time. Like you could have been, if you just didn't make the playoffs, you could have just been hanging out. Okay, this one I kind of like.
Yeah.
Rather have the closest parking space to the building. Usually that's a seniority thing, or cut all the cafeteria lines all the time.
Cut cafeteria lines.
Me too.
Yeah. I'll do the extra walk in the morning if I can get to the front of the line all the time.
Yeah.
That's a big perk.
Yeah.
Because I was fortunate with our last guy in the griddle. I'm still getting to know the new guy.
Yeah.
Last guy in the griddle.
Yeah.
Did you see him?
Wait, he's gone?
We've changed over 3 or 4 times.
No.
Yeah. I thought it was Tim. I think it was Tim. I'm almost positive.
Tim
was there for a long time.
Yeah.
He had his own podcast too.
Did he really?
Yeah, he had a podcast.
God, we're in the same industry.
He would talk to players on like their favorite meals and stuff like that.
We had such a cool
Chef
building.
Tim. Yeah.
That shit would not fly in like other buildings.
Tim, and during COVID,
It was Chef Tim.
yeah.
Oh,
Tim
man.
during COVID left.
I missed him.
I know. He was great.
Yeah, and I used to cut I didn't cut. I'd sit in the back of the team meeting room, remember, to get the ice cream first.
Yeah.
So Doug would like look at me. He's like, "You're not going to."
Would you sneak out the door to the left,
to
right
beat
there?
Flage? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'd stand in the back, and
Gotta
everybody else
beat
was sitting.
Flage.
But where's Doug's jacket? Didn't you trade jackets with Doug?
It's in my.
Did you frame it?
Not yet. It's going to be.
You got to frame it.
Yeah, that's one of my.
That was
prize.
cool.
Yeah, because I'm like, man, everybody, you do a jersey swap with your former teammates and stuff like that. What can I do with Doug? And I had already planned to give him my jersey. I did not plan to ask him for his jacket.
Just on the spot.
And like on the spot, he's like, man, I wish I had something to give you. Kind of like, I'm like, hey, can I have your jacket? And he was like,
visor.
You want my jacket? I know. Visor would have been epic.
Yeah, you kind of fucked that up.
For.
Is it fun to see him succeeding?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, it's awesome.
I don't. There are few just people you enjoy being around, and that like nobody. It's like impossible to hate the guy.
Yeah,
he's just like that genuine of a dude and a coach. So yeah, I'm just really really happy. Obviously, it ended sour in Philly, as does any career when you're fired or you leave, right? But to see that kind of rebuilt in Jacksonville and with other people on the staff that were with Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Really, really happy for him and the success they had last year.
I'm psyched. I'm psyched for him.
Yeah.
All right. These are one-word answers, and we're going to get you out of here.
All righty.
Is the 49ers Eagles a rivalry now?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely for this year. I mean, I think whenever teams are really, really good and you're coming off of a year where you guys are really, really good and you played against each other, had meaningful games, I think it's going to be. And they're certainly adding a lot of fuel with maybe some of their public comments.
They did a lot of complaining.
They have.
Just from where I'm sitting, like you don't have to say anything because I know then you got to play them and it's like fucking
I
distraction.
mean, they got a raw. I get it. I mean, they got a raw
block
deal.
the guys. Block the guys with the 90s numbers.
I mean,
you know what I mean?
Like it's a fair assessment.
It's not a fucking.
It's a fair assessment.
He didn't get hurt. You know, coming down the escalator at the Marriott.
Strain his hamstring just walking around.
Yeah.
I think.
But the rule went through.
I'm a fan of the rule.
I like the rule too.
Yeah, I don't want a team to be in the situation that they were in. We talked about this before this, but we were in a similar situation. Or
how could I forget
again,
that game?
So my God, I made that mistake twice now.
Yeah.
So Eagles playing against Seattle, first divisional. It was a wild card round.
Yeah.
And lose Carson, goes down early to Jadeveon Clowney. Then,
which I thought was a dirty hit.
Yeah, it was borderline. I don't think he meant to. Do you think he meant to?
I don't know.
His head went down with it, but like he's also just trying to hit him.
I got in an argument with a bunch of people online about that.
I know John Runyon. I talked to him about it. John didn't think it was dirty.
Didn't think it was dirty. And that's coming from John Runyon. So
He's the sheriff of the NFL.
Sheriff of Dirty, though, when he played.
Yes.
Respectfully.
Dude, how funny is that? The dirtiest player,
guy,
renowned for when he played, is now in charge
finding people
of what is and what isn't dirty.
Dude, I remember like he was standing on the sideline, and I was like, "What the fuck is John Runyon
It's
doing
basically
here?"
like-
and it was like, "He's here to take your money."
It's essentially to catch me if you can.
Yeah.
Like they took the best check fraud person and now made him in charge of catching
It's like
on the
Merton
check fraud
Hanks
people.
does the swag fines now. Merton Hanks used to be like the swaggiest guy in the world. Now he's telling you to pull his fucking socks up. But
bad.
the rule's good. Here's my one amendment to the rule.
Yeah.
They should only be able to call the quarterback the night before the game. So like I got to call AJ Feely Saturday night and be like, AJ, what are you doing? I'm kind of fucking drunk right now. Him and Selleck came down to that. You got that picture. We had a blast. But like, if Feely got a call on Saturday night, like you got to suit up tomorrow.
You got to
like
go.
that would be fun.
I like
and it
that.
has to be all retired guys,
You can only choose an inactive player
washed
in
up
the NFL.
guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Inactive.
Did Dude Perfect ruin Donna's moment at the draft?
Dude, I don't know what Dude Perfect did.
Wasn't that those guys?
He was out there.
The guys, remember the guys that were like, "We're here from Dude Perfect," and like everybody's like, "Donna Kelce's here. Shut the fuck up, please, respectfully." And they're like, "Oh, we just wanted to do this corporate sponsorship. We got to do this thing for 20 seconds." And Donna's like, "Hey, let me cook."
I'm here to announce this. Or
Yeah.
was when she announced Nolan Smith, right?
I think so.
Yeah. And
They kind of ruined
that
the
kid
moment,
looks
in
good
my
too. We didn't
opinion.
talk about that kid.
Would you want to?
He's
Because
another
I love
first-round
that
pick.
guy.
Dude,
I don't
talk
think
about a
I don't think
mentality.
the difference between him and the top guys is enough that he should. I mean, like,
Well, I think he unfortunately is like the size and like his position on a lot of 4-3 teams
would be
isn't
a
there,
backer.
right? Yeah, like is he? He's not really a true 4-3 outside
Yes.
backer, and he's not a 4-3 defensive end.
And people conflate those positions all the time. But
Yeah.
There's a big difference between a true defensive end, a backer, and then an off-ball backer that comes up on the line and rushes.
Yeah.
Like the things that they're asked to do.
So I think we are fortunate that we have the system that I think is going to be able to utilize that skill set a lot. Like we saw that a lot last year with Hassan, right? So I think just from a production standpoint, it seems like we got another really, really good value pick there. I don't know anything about that. What I do know, just talking to the kid, he's just a great dude.
Yeah.
Great kid, very like hungry and eager to get better every single day. Very mature.
Yeah.
You can tell that. I don't know. That's really like.
I love the guy.
Yeah.
From what I've seen from him too, and I haven't been at practice with him, but and the last one would be how many more animals and what kinds of animals are you planning on getting in retirement? Because you got cows right now.
I do have cows. So I have cows. I think eventually, kind of, I've talked about getting chickens.
Okay.
I picked a tick out of Wyatt's hair, and I just randomly saw that guinea hens are good at. They eat a bunch of ticks.
Oh, so you're gonna get the hen?
But the problem is they're noisy and
they're fucking birds,
screech,
dude.
I
Yeah.
know. And apparently they run on you.
They run on you.
Yeah, they just will go. You
What
can't,
do you do? You fucking put them in a cage?
I don't know. They don't like to be penned up either.
Okay.
They just got to have a big enough property that they can't get away.
But you're a farmer now, dude.
Well, I'm trying to be.
Is that what you're going to be in retirement?
No,
whenever that happens.
I don't know what I'm going to do with that yet. Right now, my cows are with another group of farmers, Ann and Bob. They're my two people that I'm learning from.
Mm-hmm.
And we go out to their farm at least once a year. We'll go out there. I think I'm trying to remember the date that they're having their annual branding event, which is a whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I heard you branded.
Branded, castrated, immunized.
You castrated.
Yeah.
Some process. Or is it simple?
So there's two different methods. There's one very simple method, which
Yeah.
is called like non-surgical,
Yeah.
which is you essentially, while they're in the chutes, or if you do it the old school way where you're like lassoing them and tying them down, you put the rubber band around it. And eventually the blood supply loses and it just falls off.
The balls just fall off.
Downside to that, apparently the animals in some discomfort for a few weeks.
Apparently.
Because
apparently
it's
their balls
a more prolonged
their giblets
level.
are rotting.
So this is a disputed thing in the industry, right?
Yeah.
Right? Is it what's more? I don't know if there is a humane way to remove testicles from an animal.
I don't
right?
think so.
But the banded method, the animals are more discomfort for a longer period of time. They do it the surgical method, which is discomfort right now, but once it's done, it's done. I mean, how much do you want to go down this rabbit hole?
I don't. Actually, another question popped
You
into
actually
my...
don't cut them off.
Here's a question.
You have to
I don't
rip
want to
them
leave you
out.
in any more. Yeah. I don't want to talk about testicles anymore. The final question.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not going to talk about retirement because you're not retiring.
Yeah.
We're not going to talk about the media after football because they're going to focus on just kicking ass as you're doing now. But I told you, you're a Hall of Famer. I know you might not want to answer this question. Okay.
Right.
But you can't deny it. Look me in the eye and tell me you're not. Do it. Look me in the eye. Tell me you're not. You fucking scared
I think
me.
there's very few amount of centers in the Hall of Fame.
Okay, that's
Here's why it's hard, because I know in my heart of hearts, I'm not even the best player, even close to the best player that I've played with in the Philadelphia Eagles. So like Fletcher Cox is a much better player than I've ever been.
Yeah.
Right. I'm fortunate. I play
Imagine
center.
doing that with the dinner table, Jason.
I play the center position. I've been very, very good at center, but I don't have to block guys one-on-one very often. I'm very good at blocking linebackers. I have weaknesses. I am nowhere near the players that Jason Peters.
Sandbagging.
I'm not sandbagging this. This is honest. Jason Peters, Lane Johnson, Brandon Brooks, Isaac Seumalo, all of these players are better on an individual level than.
Well, you're a really nice guy and a good teammate. No, I know, and you're being as honest as you can, but you're still okay. You got a gold jacket one day. Here's the question:
Okay.
Would you let Travis induct you, and would you put him on a time limit? And would you be nervous about what he would say?
I mean, oh my gosh, cramp it.
Yes, he's got somebody else in mind.
No, I think. I mean, if I do get in, there's a very good chance that Travis is. I think it's probably certain that Travis is already in, because
you're kind of backed into that. You can't like if you had somebody that you're like, oh, that's cooler than Travis, you still got to put Travis.
Yeah, because I think Travis is going to be a first ballot.
Yeah.
So he'll be in immediately. So I think there's a good chance that I won't be able to avoid that situation.
Mm-hmm.
I think I would love to have Jeff Stoutland involved, because he's had such a big part of my career if that does happen. But yeah, Trav, I'll do anything with Trav.
And you'll cry like a baby if you have to induct Trav.
Well, dude, I cry like a baby.
Doing almost anything.
Yeah. But
castrating.
I don't know. That might be maybe that is the CTE. I'm just like,
no, I don't think so. I don't think so. I haven't cried in a while, so
okay.
I think you're good.
It's not that.
Jace, appreciate the time, buddy.
Oh yeah, thanks for having me.
This is awesome. I mean, fuck you. You took a lot of time out of your day, so thanks, bro.
Hey man, I'm looking forward to this. Awesome to see you.
Yeah.
And
we'll get the RV fired up to next time.
Yeah, well, RV and getting you on new heights.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah,
love to go.
Awesome.
Listen to the full podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and other podcast streaming platforms. Wherever you want to get the podcast, you can get the podcast. Pretty simple. New episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more content. Podcasts get pretty wild. This is real tame.